So we're starting a new mimer. It's a new parsha. Parshas Miketz in Torah. If anyone wants to get the sefer, this is Torah. To get it on kahat.org.com, whatever it is, kahatonline.com, or on Amazon, I'm sure. But it's a new year after Yitas Kislev and Chav Kislev, and we're starting another mimer. The parsha talks about what happened after 2 years, which, as Al Rebbe will say, it's a continuation from last week's parsha, and then Parah starts to have dreams. Let's see inside, page 60. It was the end of 2 years, and Parah has a dream. The parsha shelofanav. This parsha is attached to the parsha which came beforehand, which is Vayeshev, and it says the very end of that section, Yosef HaTzadik properly interpreted the dreams of the butler and the baker. The baker is going to be killed, and the butler is going to be reinstated. And he asked the butler, Sarah Mashkin, please mention me to Pareh, remember, and tell him that I've been falsely accused and I'm languishing here in a jail, and really I'm not guilty. 2 years after that is when the following story happened, and because before that, the Sarah Mashkin forgot all about it. Because he, the butler, did not remember, as the Parsha finishes last week, that the Sarah Mashkin did not remember and he forgot Yosef. So 2 years later, now Pareh has a dream. He can't find the interpretation to this dream, so he there's plenty of more seats over here. That was for the video. But there is, he didn't, after 2 years, Pareh went and had a dream, and he couldn't understand the interpretation. So the Sarah Mashkin, the butler, wakes up and says, hey, by the way, I remember when I was in jail, there was this kid there, and he's Jewish, and he's really a slave, and etc., in a very derogatory way, but it basically said, there is a kid who knows how to interpret dreams. So the Rebbe says, to understand this deeper, we have to appreciate that there's, just like you have a Pareh and a butler in the physical sense, there's a guy called Pareh, he's a king of Egypt, and there's a butler who's in charge of pouring the wine and so on and so forth. There's also spiritual means of that, not just the klippa. In holiness, in the side of Kedusha, you also have these levels. You have a Pareh of Kedusha. You have a Sarah Mashkin, a butler of Kedusha. This is telling you that, yes, what Chumash says is obviously literal, it's exactly, but there is another level of a holy Pareh and a holy Sarah Mashkin. Because everything that Hashem created, He did it in a way of one opposite the other. So there's going to be a counterpart to everything, because of balance, because of free choice, etc. You say this, a person, says the Alter Rebbe, has 4 foundations, as we know, 4 elements: Eish, Ruach, Mayim, Afer, fire, air, water, and earth. Every person, and really everything in existence, has that makeup of those 4 elements. Yesod ha'esh, where's the foundation of fire? Mishkanei belev. In a spiritual sense, or a more refined sense, it's in the heart. The seat of this fire element that we have is in our heart. And the source of dampness, which we'll call it water, comes from the brain. That's the root, the dwelling place of the foundation of water. So we have fire, water, air, and earth. The fire is in the heart, the water, dampness, is in the mind. The hareya, and the lungs, the lung pulls or draws all different types of liquid and dampness from the mayach, through the kana, it's bringing dampness from the mind. Let's call it through the heart, or through the windpipe. But it's not the windpipe, the correct pipe. It's bringing dampness to the heart. And the point is to cool off the heat of the heart. Okay, so functionality-wise, the body has a process. The heart cannot overheat, and that's a source of fire, and the mind cools it down. Obviously, there's layers here of how it's explained and what it means practically, what it means literally, and what's nuanced and so on. The kach nefesh alikis is similarly the godly soul. Yisod hamayim b'mayach. The nefesh alikis also has a foundation of water, which is in the mayach, which means the intellectual side, the intellectual part of the nefesh alikis is hu b'chinas chachma v'das. That's the idea of chachma, of wisdom and of understanding in the Aveda of Hashem, in the person's mind and his thoughts. And that's called water, or liquid, or also referred to as cold. And even though there are no machshaves that could grasp him, what do you mean you're going to understand Hashem? Nobody can understand Hashem. It does say that he's known in the gates. It talks about in Neshes Chayil that praising the woman, that her husband is known in the gates. So the idea of Baila in this case would be the Eibishter, and Noida means he's known. So there's a level of knowledge. Obviously, you can't understand Hashem, but there is this concept. Each person according to their level. There are people that understand godliness. You know what you understand? You know what he's not. I can tell you that Hashem is not limited. I know what limit is, and I know that Hashem is not limited. It doesn't mean that I understand Hashem. Right? My mind can't understand Hashem. He's not understandable, right, with the human mind. But there are levels that you could connect, to understand what he's not, have some kind of grasp. Again, it's not literally understanding Hashem, but there's some element of chachma associated with the Avodas Hashem. What does this practically mean? It means the reflection, the meditation, the contemplation, in regards to the expansion of the greatness of Hashem, upwards without any limits, and downwards without any end. You start to think. A person takes time, whether it's before davening or it's during davening or the time that he has. And he's being misbeinen, he's reflecting, thinking deeply about this concept that Hashem is his greatness, which means his kindness, extends everywhere. Highest of worlds, highest of levels, lowest of places. There's nothing existing without Hashem. Kiberuach piv kol tzevam, because with the spirit of his mouth is all the creations. The kula kamei kala chashiv, and they are all in front of Hashem considered to be nothing. Right? It's all for Hashem garnished. It's all the Eibishter. And in order to understand this, it gives a mashal. When a person speaks, right, there's you, and there are your words. Now we know that words are very important. Words have an effect. Words are very powerful, but it's not your essence. It's an extension or an external expression of something deeper within yourself. The Eibishter created the world with dibur, right? For example, the speech of a person, love, the dibur is bottled to the person. If you really compare words to the person, there's nothing. The words, I can say different things. There's me, and then there's things that I say, what I don't say. And that each person, according to his own estimation, according to his level, there's nothing else in the heavens above. And all of the highers and the lowers. It's bottled to the Eibishter. And when there's a world that was created, that means every element and aspect, highest and lowest. Highest means even higher worlds, Gan Eden, Elyon, and so on and so forth. And lower places, like very physical, coarse, material world, is all just from the speech of Hashem, which means it's an expression of something, but it's bottled to the Eibishter. In other words, Ein Eid Milvadai. There's nothing in this world that's not Hashem. It may seem like Chas V'Shalom is its own entity. It may seem like you have to contend with something outside, but it's not the case. Everything is only the Eibishter. There's nothing that a person says, I'd love to keep Shabbos, but whatever, I got to work. How am I going to earn a living? The world works this way. Chas V'Shalom, right? The world doesn't work anyway. The Eibishter runs the world. He created the world, and it can't be that it's someone has to go against the Eibishter for this. And therefore, they're mamish considered to be nothing in front of the Eibishter. The Seidah Eish, Watzimayin Shabalev. And we said there's a fire element. The fire element is a thirst, it's a yearning, it's a desire. It's like I want something. Just like thirst, it's dried out, but it's a powerful emotion, similar or drive. Similarly, in the expression sense, the heart has that tzimoi, that thirst. I want elikos, I want godliness, I want a connection, I want to serve the Eibishter. Which understands through the person's contemplation the greatness of Hashem. They're starting to think, what's a person being misbeinen? That this whole world is words of Hashem. Compared to Hashem himself, this is garnished. And the person recognizes that has an effect on the way that he interacts with the world, and he realizes that there's nothing else in existence besides the Eibishter. And how the whole world is nothing in front of the Eibishter. It's not considered, there's no relevance. I shouldn't say no relevance. It's not important to him, in the sense that it's bottled to the Eibishter. When you say not important, it can be misunderstood. Obviously, the Eibishter cares deeply about this world, and each and every one of us. But the point is that understand what's really here. It's the Eibishter at work. And it's not, it's bottled to the Eibishter. And therefore, and therefore, because he has this thirst to connect to the Eibishter with a strong ava, like a flame of fire. It's a flame which goes up on its own, just like you have a candle. Right? The flame is going up on its own. The skala of Eravai, to be included in the light of Hashem, he does not want to be down here like the nature of the light of fire. So to explain what fire means, the element of fire is a thirst, a yearning for the Eibishter. That's a result of his beinus, that a person realizes that everything in this world is only Hashem. And obviously, if everything is only Hashem, then I want the Eibishter. For the Eibishter, there is a thirst. So as a result of this beinus comes a thirst. And the nature of this fire, of all fire, is that it's upwards directional. It's constantly yearning to go higher. In fact, the person is so strong, his desire is so strong that, in a sense, he wants to leave the world. He wants to leave the body. He wants to stay closer to Eibishter. Obviously, you can't do that. But that's what's happening by that age. What time is it?
5:02.
But level of water is a mile. Water descends from a high place to a low place. He brings forth on his nefesh the light of Hashem, which is Torah, to illuminate his nefesh, even when he's down here.
So water is like the opposite of fire.
Yeah, and it balances out the person, because on his own he just wants to leave the body. But you have to be in a body to fulfill Torah mitzvahs. So the water part is like, cool, here's how we're going to do this. You can't just have this crazy yearning and then not fulfill what Hashem wants. It says, you're living against your will. You want to, Hashem in theory, would want to be closer to Hashem. The good news is that the person also doesn't leave this world unless it's against his will. But the Klais HaNefesh is that expression of, he really wants Hashem, he's thirsty for the Eibishter. Let Hashem will continue tomorrow.
Thank you, Raj.
Thanks for joining.